Hello everybody, my name is Fernando Magalena, and today I'll be talking to you about capture techniques for fossorial caecilians. First off, let's talk about what are caecilians. Caecilians are these limbless amphibians known for having reduced to non-existent eyes, and as you can see on the bottom right of your screen, there's a little diagram of all the parts of a caecilian, and they also are known for having this tentacle on the top of their mouth, which is used for sensory reasons. They're mostly distributed throughout South America and Southeast Asia, and in some small parts of Eastern and Western Africa. Some of the species are aquatic, but today we'll only be focusing on the fossorial species. And a big issue that is going on with caecilians is their lack of research. And today we will be addressing the problem, which is detecting these fossorial caecilians in these areas where there's no clear, effective methods on how to approach the situation. Uh, Current literature shows that there's like methods such as tunnel traps, pitfall traps, digging, and these are all super ineffective in their own sense and are often not applicable in certain situations. And it is all these methods show that it is difficult detecting fossorial caecilians. The first method is digging, and digging is very straightforward. It's using some sort of tool, such as a hoe or a rake, to dig trenches or holes where you'd expect to find caecilians and spotting them firsthand. This can often be flexible because you can choose where you wish to investigate based on potential caecilian habitats, and you can also work towards areas that other people have spotted caecilian-like animals. And that means you can just take your tools and just go over there and manually do it. However, that brings the cons of it's very time intensive to just be off constantly digging holes and as well as a lot of work, manual labor, and that can bring the cost of time and as well as paying a technician or whoever may be working on this to constantly digging holes. Often this technique is limited to areas with softer soil with more organic matter and a lot of leaf litter, which is often where you'd expect to find caecilians. So it is limited to these areas where you would often expect to find them. The second method is pitfall traps, and this requires just digging a hole and placing some sort of bucket. And this bucket is usually in the path of where you would expect a caecilian to crawl through or like somewhere in the soil, as the diagram shows below. Um, and we'd expect the caecilians to fall into this bucket and be trapped. The traps can be set up basically anywhere, and you can return to them the following day, so you don't actually have to be there constantly. And they could often be baited, so to influence caecilians, the bait can be from like some sort of invertebrate, which is their favorite sort of sources, such as crickets and earthworms, such as that. Uh, and this structure can be accommodated to any sort of environment you're in, whether it be rocky or softer soil. It'll all just be slightly difficult, but the setup is the only process needed. This being said, there have been some increased mortalities in pitfall traps due to like caving in of sand or soil, and this can lead to the caecilians dying or the off the the bycatch dying, which is also a big issue. Which is there are a lot of bycatch and of non-target species, especially if there are a lot of species nearby that uh, that eat the same sort of bait. The third method and final method I'll be talking about today are tunnel traps, and these are these customizable tubings that have some sort of wire or trigger mechanism that sets off this door that would enclose the caecilian in this tubing. And these are often customizable structures that can be used to set up for the specific animal to avoid bycatch. And they're often low upkeep for the trap because the sensors can be set up to let you know when the trap has gone off so you don't constantly have to come back and check on them. The cons of these are that they're like you require a lot of knowledge of the systems and the tunnel systems of this fossorial animal you're targeting, as well as that rainfall can collapse these structures and lead to like the death of these trapped animals, as well as that you need required extensive digging to set up the trap where you expect to find the tunnel system, or if you know where the tunnel system is. For my recommendation, I would say that all depends on the circumstances based on the soil and the area you are searching for and all the literature that is behind finding the caecilians you are targeting. But in generalized circumstances, I would say pitfall traps are a great way to trap most amphibians, and I would include caecilians in this category of most amphibians, as it requires minimal effort to set up, and these are passive trapping mechanism methods that you can set up and come back to at a certain point in time, and these are able to be baited and checked on constantly as most trap work is done. And here are the citations I used to make the claims throughout the PowerPoint. And these bottom three sources were crucial to my investigation and brought a lot of information about caecilians, especially since there's very little literature about these animals. I invite everybody to go comment and ask questions about this presentation, and thank you so much for your time.